ladies and gentlemen. I know the smell of food is getting you all. You're all very welcome to our end of year celebration night. A night to recognise the dedication and the vital role that family carers provide in society, and how we, the Cavan Monaghan, caring for carers, can support you in that role. Now, without further delay, we're going to have our evening meal. I'll just give you a brief overview of the evening's events. Your evening meal will be followed now shortly, and during the meal, tickets will be on sale for all these wonderful donated prizes here on my right. So we'd like to thank everybody that donated prizes and collected prizes for the night. This will be followed. Geraldine Clark will give you a brief overview of the past year's events and activities. And then after that, we will have Marie Burke. Marie is a programme supervisor with Rehab Care, and she also shares the care of her brother and her sister. And Marie is very aware of the stress that full-time carers have, and she was just going to give us a short presentation on self-care and demonstrate an exercise that we should all learn. So we'll be interested in hearing from Marie, and thank you, Marie, for coming. After that, we're going to have Catherine McGregor here on my left. Catherine is a faithful Valley Bay carer, and Catherine is going to tell us how we should wear different colours. And she's also going to demonstrate colour analysis and wardrobe weeding. So it's a good time to weed the wardrobe and get new style. So I'd like to thank you, Catherine, for coming along and being with us here tonight. We also have Pat Shannon. Pat Shannon is Head of Services from Caring for Carers Ireland. And Pat has travelled all the way from Ennis, County Clare, to be with us. And he will explain how important the services is and how we should all avail of them. Is Pat here? Maybe he's just not here yet, but hopefully he'll arrive. After that then, recognising the long life commitment of family carers, we're going to make a presentation to the family of the late Marie Shanahan, Killa Chandra, and Geraldine will make that presentation after that. We're going to have music here by Frank and Vincent after that, and we'll close the evening with our draw and upcoming events. Again, I would like to thank you all for coming, and I hope you all enjoyed the evening. And we do know that it's difficult for family carers to get respite to come to an event like this. So we appreciate your coming, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Without further ado, they're going to serve the meal, and the chef here wants to tell me that one table can go to the top, and one table can serve on both sides of the table. Okay? Here's Pat Shannon now. Thank you for coming, Pat. All right? We're just going to get back to business now, and I'm going to call on Geraldine, and Geraldine's just going to give a brief overview of the past year's events and activities. All right, I'll hand you over to Geraldine.
Now, good evening everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your meal, and what I had to eat was very nice anyway. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Not hear it. Oh, well, that might be no harm. Okay, I'll take it up. Yeah. I won't detain you too long because you're here to have an enjoyable evening. So, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and invited guests. And our special guests this evening are family who have experienced caring through their lives, and they're the family of the late Marie Shannon from Kilnashandra. You're all very welcome. A special welcome to Cavan and to his sister Laura. Thank you all for coming, and with this inclement weather, you're great to get here. We all know how hard it is to get someone to relieve you and to give you respite for a few hours, so enjoy yourselves when you're here. So I'll just give you a short rundown on our events and activities over the past year. Our support groups in the designated areas in the two counties are a vital point of contact for family carers. Information and training was made available and emotional support given in a safe, supportive environment, and this will continue in both counties. Manual handling training was provided as required, and this is a very vital training for family carers, especially for a family carer with no experience when a loved one is discharged from hospital. They are unaware of the danger that can come to themselves and the risk to their loved one as well if they're not properly trained in moving and handling. And caring for carers, Cavan, Monaghan and throughout the country are the only port of call for a family carer to avail of this training. It is not provided through the HSE, which really anyone taking someone home to look after them should be upskilled in that respect. So a lot of family carers in the two counties have availed of this, and we provide it on a needs-led basis, and when we have a number of carers who need training, we make this training available to them. First aid is another very useful skill, and this is also provided during the year, and we're very grateful to the Irish Red Cross who provide wonderful training in this respect. Computer training is another skill that has been given to the family carer, and we have had family carers trained in ECDL, emailing, internet banking, Skype, Twitter and Tweet, and we've upskilled them in the family carer, and this will allow them to move forward in employment after their caring role has ended, and is also a wonderful way of keeping in touch with families, members who are abroad and the outside world, because it's oftentimes not easy to get out and about to meet your friends and family. Now, through our support group meetings, we have also identified the impact that full-time caring can have on carers' health. And to combat this, we have provided holistic therapies and workshops have been made available to carers to allow them to look after their own health and well-being. Information sessions were given on managing stress and the importance of exercise and having a good diet, and much, much more as well. Over the years, emergency respite has been identified as the most urgent need for the family carer. So the resourceful family carers in County Monaghan have taken upon themselves to do a pilot project, and they are running a charity shop in Castleblaney. Here they are raising funds to supplement HSE funding to provide this service. This year we have assisted many families in crisis situations, and well done to the initiative of the family carers in County Monaghan. There is also a very active social element to our support. Apart from the regular monthly meetings, we have our annual outings, and these have been highly attended every year. The numbers are growing. Our annual respite weekend also allows a family carer to take time out from their caring role, and meet other carers in similar situations and return home refreshed and better able to care. This year, the respite weekend continues, and the first weekend in March is the weekend in 2016, and it's in Westport this year. So full details are available from Bridget and myself. So first come, first served, because the numbers, the demand is very high for it. Other events during the year. On the invitation of Marion Harkin, 8 family carers from the 2 counties joined other family carers in the region, from the region to travel to Brussels and participate in the Carers Interest Group meeting. The topic for discussion this time round was the responsibility of the state versus community and long-term care provision within the EU. Carers felt that this was a very worthwhile exercise, and they learned a lot from how other countries provide and support people in need of long-term care. And Marion Harkin is a great advocate for family carers, and Kathy Sinnott and herself set up this special group within the Parliament, and has had much support for family carers written into law in Europe. So they have good support there, and Marion is always open to meet anyone and discuss any problems they have. During the year in 2014, it was brought to our attention that the ongoing discussions between the Carers Association and Caring for Carers Ireland during the year 2014, it was brought to our attention of ongoing discussions between the Carers Association and Caring for Carers Ireland to provide one dedicated care-centred organisation to support, lobby and advocate on behalf of Ireland's family carers. During the past year, workshops were made available to us on the topic and were attended by many carers throughout the country and in this region. It was decided after 2 EGMs that, and by an unanimous vote, that a merger would take place. 97% were in favour. The merger will ensure the benefits and services from both organisations will be available to all carers throughout the country, while pooling best practice and experience to create one strong national voice for family carers based on the shared vision of the future. The name of our new organisation is Family Carers Ireland, with ethos meaning fairness for carers, and I think it's very appropriate ethos to have, fairness for carers, because they seem to be part of the forgotten people of our society. All the above could not be achieved without the support of HSE and the community and voluntary sector. They provide us with our clerical and support staff. Eilish McGarry is the clerical officer in the Castleblaney office, and Linda Rooney is the new clerical officer in the Real Club Centre in Kilnalek for the Cavan area. She replaced Pauline Coleman, who was with us for 3 years. Also, our in-house support worker, Marion Connolly, has progressed from the THUS programme to the CE scheme, and we also welcome our new THUS participant, Michael Timoney, who is now manager of the new charity shop in Castleblaney. And well done to you, Michael. It's nice to have a gentleman among all the ladies. So before I conclude, I say this without hesitation. on behalf of all family carers in Cavan and Monaghan, we wish Mary McMahon, our former CEO, a long, healthy and happy retirement, because without her foresight and empathy and commitment to the needs of family carers, none of us would be here tonight. So going forward, Bridget and myself are transferring to the new merged organisation, and we will continue to provide information, training, respite and a listening ear for the full-time family carer and those for whom they care. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Geraldine, for that very detailed report again, and also for your support to me over the year. Now we'll call on Marie Burke. Marie assists her brothers and sisters looking after family members, and she is very familiar with the stress that full-time caring can have. She's going to give us a small presentation on self-care and demonstrate an exercise for us. Thank you, Marie.
Hello everybody, my name is Marie Burke, I'm from Enniskeane, and I'm here on a couple of capacities, one being that I'm very familiar with the world of caring at home, and in fact if I wasn't here now I'd be putting my 40-year-old brother to bed tonight, which is hoisting and full care, so I'm very familiar with all the work. I also have a brother with Down syndrome and an elderly mother, so I'm very fortunate that we're a big family. I'm one of 12, and so over the years it's been very tough work, but we've all learned to pull together, and we now work as a team. So we have a great rota going, and we do bedtimes and weekends. So it's not such hard work as it used to be, but I used to be one of the main carers, so I know what it's like to have that huge responsibility. I also work part-time with rehab care, so I know a lot about the world of disabilities and, hopefully what the future holds for young people and independent living. But really, I suppose the real reason I'm here is because 6 years ago I set up a program, because I'm trained in quite a lot of complementary therapies, so I set up a program called Invest in Yourself, and it's been very successful, and I run classes in local towns like Carrickmacross, Dundalk, Blaney, Monaghan, and their classes teaching people how to relax and meditate, and they involve a bit of healing as well. So I'm going to try and combine all of that together tonight and give you some pointers on what I have learned for myself that keep me sane, and that hopefully you will all take some on board to help manage yourself. So the first thing would be quite nice to do, just to connect with everybody here, and so we all know a bit about each other in the room. I was just going to ask maybe for a show of hands for people who are caring for parents at home. If that's okay, maybe just a show of hands. People who are caring for partners. People who are caring for a child, for a sibling, or for someone else. Okay, so it's quite a mixed group of people caring for family members. So I'm going to go through a list of pointers to help those of you who are especially in full-time caring to help look after yourself. The first one, of course, would be to take breaks. And the thing is, there's a difference between sitting down and just having a break and completely switching off, where it's a guilt-free break. Most people that I do a lot of one-to-one work with people using therapies at my home. I've been doing it for years. So I know quite a bit about how people live, and especially how carers looking after others and mothers and all of that. And most people, when they take a break, they're not really on a break at all. They're thinking about the things that have to be done in the kitchen, the things that have to be done elsewhere. And so it's really important to learn how to just stop and not feel guilty about putting your feet up or having a genuine break where you can just disconnect completely from your workload. Maybe go and take some exercise. And there's a lot of talk today about mindfulness, and it is really, really important actually to be mindful. So when you're on a walk, it's to be mindful that you're on a walk. Your head's not buzzing with the things that you have to do when you come home, that you're on the walk, that you can hear the birds, you can see the trees, you know where you're walking, you're connecting in with what you're doing. Because, in 20 minutes time or whatever, when you're back, you're going to be back on duty anyway. So it is really important to try and learn how to be mindful and completely disconnect. The next thing I would say to anyone who comes on my classes is this, and some of you may or may not agree. I would say be very careful about what you're tuning into, especially on the TV around news and stuff, because when you're a carer, it's such tough work, and you have to be very careful that you don't let the fear of the world come into your house. But there's so much negativity in the press and on the news, so be very careful and choosy about how much of that you listen to, so that you can create a kind of more peaceful place for yourself to live in. I rarely ever hear the news. If I do, it's just the headlines, and anything that's big going on in the world, someone's going to knock on your door and tell you anyway, so you don't really need to be filling your head with negative stuff from the news. I would say it's really important that we all learn how to relax, and if you can, bring it to another level, to learn how to meditate. It's the one thing that's kept me sane, especially in the last few years when the caring needs have got even bigger, and as my mother's gotten older and there's even more work for us to do as a family. I know now how to completely switch off, to completely change my mindset, and from that stay positive. And out of the positivity, I've been so amazed at all the incredible things that can start to happen when we learn how to stay positive. Your energy goes up, you're much stronger, and you're much more able to cope. This is one that a lot of us carers struggle with, and that is to ask for help. Often we're people who will just take on the world. We want to fix it all ourselves, we'll do it all ourselves, and we're very, very slow to ask for help, either from the people around us or from services. I used to be like that, and then I burnt myself out. So I'm very clear now that in my family, the relationship that I have with my mother and my siblings is no different than any of my siblings. So therefore I feel, despite being a woman, I still feel that we all have to step up and pull our weight, and it's the best thing we've done as a family to just share the load. I think there's 7 brothers who can do the caring as good as I can. They can do any personal care work, and they've had to learn it. They've had to get on with it and do it, because we as the women of the family me and my sister, we just won't take it all on anymore. And you know what? It's so good for them, because they learn how to care for somebody else. And I think after all these years of working in the care world, that it's actually really important that all family members step up and learn how to care for their loved ones, because one day that loved one may not be there, and it's really important that each one of us can say, I did my bit while they were alive or whatever. Okay, this is another one that can be difficult. To let the help in. We've really struggled with this in the sense of wanting the help, but then when the help shows up, it can be quite hard to accept the help. So that can be a whole thing to overcome in allowing help in, especially help from the health board. Again, not feeling you have to do it all by yourself, or that the family has to do it all. There's some incredible carers out there, and we're very fortunate that now we have pretty much covered the daytime hours, and we only have to do the night times ourselves. And And it's made such a huge difference in terms of our worrying about the future, that we have things in place. Carers as well, we need to learn how to say no, because we'll do stuff for everybody and put ourselves last. And while it's lovely to be very helpful and all of those things, it's important to let people, especially people, you know, around us who are well able to do things for themselves, to get on with it and let them do things for themselves. And don't always be jumping in to say, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Sometimes just say, no, I'm busy, I can't do it, and see what happens, okay? And you'll be surprised how much time you start to gain when you're not the one always running around. It's fine to help people who can't help themselves, but be careful about helping people who are well able to do things for themselves, because people will let you do it. Okay. And on the independence thing as well, for the people that we're caring for, sometimes we can be almost too caring and we're not allowing them to have their own independence. So if people, whoever you're caring for, if they're able to do things, let them do them themselves and encourage them to do more and more for themselves. For instance, recently we had our morning carers were starting to feed my brother his breakfast to save time when he can actually eat his breakfast himself. So we had to put a stop to that, because, you know, eventually he won't be doing it himself if somebody's feeding him. So it's really important that we give the people as much independence as they're able to cope with, so that they stay independent for longer. This is one that I think is so important, especially for people maybe that have young family with disability, and that's to start looking to the long term. We've been working on a long-term plan for 10 years. It's been very slow, but we're a lot further on than we were when we started. And we can see now that we're almost in a situation to be able to have my brothers live independently at home for maybe indefinitely, please God. But you've got to start looking up ahead as to what you're going to need. You mightn't always be fit to be the carer. Don't be afraid to look at that. Don't be afraid to start making phone calls, asking for help, putting a long-term plan in place, so that, you know, in 10 years' time, there's a body of people, there's a network of people that your loved one has around them, and they're not solely dependent on you for their care and support. I'll just say a tiny little bit about the future in terms of disabilities. And this is from my work with Rehab Care. There's something called New Directions. And New Directions is all about people living more and more independently. It's about getting away from day centres and living and integrating more in the community. It's about having little part-time jobs near home, about living in supported accommodation, perhaps locally in their own communities. So it's really encouraging actually for the future that all these things that's where the funding is going to go. And I do believe, having seen the effects of it, that it's really important for us to open up the world of the people, of our loved ones, to as much people as we can, because especially people with disabilities, they can't maybe make that happen for themselves. And so it's nice if we are the ones as the carers that are opening up that world to let other people in, to help support them and create a good social network around them. So I would also say to anybody who's like perhaps interested in maybe working in the field, that while you're doing the caring, it's a great opportunity to get some qualifications. And I heard Bridget talking about some of the training that you can get through this organisation. And it's such a good idea to tool yourself up with a few skills so that you become employable in that field, because there's going to be so much work in the caring field in the years ahead. In New Directions, it's all about workers coming into the home to work one-to-one with people. So there's going to be such a load of work in that field, and why not have the qualification so you can go in and get some paid work? get a hobby, some interest, because again, caring is so intense. You can, as I'm sure you know, it's easy to lose yourself, and your whole world just revolves around caring, and there's no time for anything else. So it's really important to find something that's just yours, a hobby or some sort of an interest that you can go to and turn off, switch off, and do something you love. And finally, to say just, my experience is mainly with intellectual disability, as I said, and I just find this client group such an incredible group to work with, not just my family, but the people I work with during the day as well, because there's such good fun. And I think it's really important that we try and bring a bit of fun into caring, because it is tough outgoing, and if you can find something to laugh about, and especially get your loved ones laughing, then the whole thing becomes a lot easier and a lot lighter. So I thought maybe I'll just finish up on doing a little exercise in breathing perhaps, but before that, to help you get into the frame of mind of being more positive, I think just a positive mental attitude is what will get us all as carers through and keep us sane when the times are tough. I thought maybe it might be quite nice to focus on some of the positive things about being a home carer. One is that you get to work from home, which is quite nice. You don't have to go out on the icy roads and this time of year out to work. The other is you're your own boss, which is really nice. You're not having to go out and deal with people outside in the workplace, which can be difficult at times. You're also learning skills, which are highly marketable these days. And I'm sure many of you are learning advocacy skills, which are the skills required to kind of get the help board in, to fight for services, to speak on behalf of your loved ones. So it really is quite a good tool bag to be putting together being a home carer. So I was going to see now if you would like to kind of learn how to, for 5 minutes perhaps, or even less, I'll teach you, if you like, how to kind of just switch off and completely relax. Is that okay? Okay. So if I was going to give myself a break, I would want to just forget that I'm a carer, or forget that I am whatever is bothering me at that moment. So I don't know if you're familiar with the word affirmations, okay? Positive affirmations are very powerful things, and I've got a little card here that I'm going to leave with you, and on the back of it I have 3 affirmations, and I honestly think if you can be saying these things to yourself and feel them true, you're going to be fine, and you'll have loads of energy to be able to cope with caring and loads more beyond. The first one is, I am an amazing carer. Now, an affirmation is anything we think in our heads is an affirmation. It's either positive or negative. Most people, unless we've trained our mind, we think about up to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of them are negative. Okay, so for people who aren't actively making an effort to be positive, most of the time you're probably quite negative. And I've spent many years working on the head, and I love working on mental and emotional stuff with people. I just love it, and seeing the changes in them very, very quickly. So I know the power of these affirmations. If you were to just say these every day for a while, you will see things will change around you. You'll be different. The workload will feel different. I wouldn't be surprised if help started coming in. All sorts of things would start to happen. The second one is, I love what I do. That's so important, and especially as carers, it's really important that we're loving what we do for our own sakes, and more importantly, for the sake of the person we're looking after. It's really important that they have people around them who are enjoying what they're doing. And the last one I've put down is, myself and my loved ones are truly blessed. Because if you believe that, you will start to see lovely things start to come into your life. And I'm not just making that up, that is absolute truth. I've been living this way now for quite a while, and just such lovely things happen out of it, even like the call to come here, stuff like that just keeps happening for me now, because I stay really, really positive. And when I'm down, when things do annoy me, I won't allow it to upset me for more than, I don't know, minutes really, before I'll take myself off and do something about it. And this is what I might do, what I'm going to do with you now. So if you want to maybe just close down your eyes, if that's okay, because if you're going to switch off, it's nice to just close down your eyes and take a deep breath in. So a breath in would be that you would breathe in and hold that breath and breathe out really slowly. And again, breathe in, hold the breath, don't let it out yet. And breathe out really slowly. So I'm just going to give you this first affirmation, and I want you to imagine it all around your head. I am an amazing carer. Take a deep breath in and really breathe that into your head so that you believe that about yourself. Now move your attention down to your heart. Deep breath in. I love what I do. Move your attention to your hands. Myself and my loved ones are truly blessed. And just imagine lovely things happening now for you and your family, you and your loved ones. Life is easier. See yourself with loads of energy, well able to do your caring and more. See the person you're caring for in good form, because if the person you're caring for is in good form, it's hardly work at all, and it's good fun. If you're someone right now who's struggling, start to see help coming in the door. People offering to help you out. And then focus on your feet. And just imagine yourself now in a really nice place. Somewhere where you can totally relax. And just a breath and come back. Now, the more you practice, I know it's difficult in here because there's a lot of people and whatever, but the more you practice simple little things like that, you will get so good at it, and you'll be able to switch off within seconds of sitting down. It's nice to make a place in your home where that's your space, and when you sit in that chair, that means I'm totally off duty, even if it's only for 10 minutes. And the more you use that space, and the more you work positive statements when you're sitting there, the quicker and quicker and quicker it's going to get, and you'll switch off in seconds eventually. So I think that's it for now. I've got these little cards I'm going to give you. I would say, these are the kind of little thing that, on a tough day maybe you'll come across it and you think, oh gosh, I can keep going. That's how these little things work. So I'm just going to leave them on the tables and you can take them with you. And once again, I'd just like to thank Bridget for inviting me here this evening.
Thank you very much, Marie, for that very detailed presentation on caring for a loved one. Nobody knows better than myself at the minute the struggle it can be at times when you are looking after a loved one. Let it be a parent or let it be a sibling. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be very difficult at times. And I have to say everything that Marie said is very, very important. Especially, I find, to not be afraid to take help. If somebody comes in through the door and they said, do you want to go into town for an hour? Take it and run. It's very important to take that break, and you return better able to care. So thank you very much, Marie, for coming for that.
when we are on talking on full-time caring, I would just like to call Geraldine. Geraldine, we just want to recognise the dedication of a family carer to the Killishandra group, the family of Marie Shanahan. I'd like to call them up.
Thank you, Bridget. I'd just like to ask Cavan and Laura maybe to come forward. Marie Shannon was the very first person when I started my work in Cavan in 2004. Marie Shannon was the very first person to lift the phone and ask me, are you really going to provide some support for family carers? And I said, well, that's my aim, but I'm going to need a lot of help in the process. So Marie really knew what was needed, and she worked tirelessly on behalf of all you family carers to help us achieve that. And Marie is a full-time lifetime family carer for her son Cavan. Cavan is here tonight, all dressed up in his lovely Christmas outfit, and you have your hat on, Cavan, have you not? We'll show you the hat. He'll show you the hat on the dance floor. And for her husband. And unfortunately, Marie left us for a better world earlier this year. We have a memorial bowl here for Laura and Cavan. And this is actually a memorial bowl, and it's a symbol of commitment, nurturing, faith and togetherness. And Marie was someone who had all of these qualities. And this is not just for Marie, it's for all you carers here in this room, because all of you mirror the qualities that Marie had. And that goes for all family carers. So going forward into our new organisation, it will be nice to have this bowl to bring the spirit of Cavan Monaghan Caring for Carers into the future of our new organisation. And as I said, it's engraved Cavan Monaghan, Cavan Monaghan Caring for Carers, in memory of Marie Shannon 2015. So it's a symbol, it's a bowl that is memorial to Marie, but also to all your family carers here, because each and every one of you are equal, and there's no one more special than the other. So thank you, Marie and Cavan, for giving us this opportunity to give you this bowl and to allow us to have it going into the future. Thank you. Give some flowers to Laura, and we have something special. We'll not give Cavan flowers, but we'll give him something special. All right?
Oh, sorry.
Everybody over that way. I guess you stand here just behind you.
Thank you very much, Geraldine, for that. Now, on a different note, we're going to call on Catherine McGregor over here on my left. Catherine is just going to give us a short snip on, if any of you haven't gone shopping yet, she's going to let us know different colours that we could wear. So I'll call on Catherine just to give us a short snip on that. Thank you, Catherine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to give you a quick run through on, it's literally on what colour you are. colour analysis. And I'll do a quick just abbreviate on water weeding as well. But first of all, I'd like to have maybe a volunteer so that I can just demonstrate doing the colours.
Yes, Sterling. Right, it's very hard to see. Very hard to see. Yeah.
Alice, I get maybe send you.
Sorry, Alice. Just sit up.
Yeah, just even keep going.
Up here now? That's better. You talk away and I'll hold that one.
The first thing, we just thank you, Alice, for volunteering. So basically what you want to do is if you have to find out if you're warm or cool undertones. And that basically is to see under your skin to see which is the best colour that suits you. Now there's a couple of ways you can find out if you're warm or cool, and that is by checking your veins on your wrist. Now obviously with the lightness it's quite dim so you won't be able to see, but ideally first thing in the morning before you put on any creams or makeup or whatever, you could go over to the window and see if you are your veins are either blue or green. And if there's a green tone, that means you're warm undertone, and if they're blue, that means you're very much cool undertones. So that's just one way of doing it. Another way you can do it is draping, say, cream or white against the face. So I'm going to just put the cream, like an off-white here on Alice. Now, obviously I'm using the cream straight away with Alice because I know she's a warm undertone. And basically I would know that straight away from people, excuse me, whether they're warm or cool. So I'm just going to work now with Alice just to speed us up a wee bit. So I would use the creamy white on Alice as a basic colour. So if she was wearing a blouse under a suit or like a jumper or whatever, this would be her basic colour. And straight away from that I would start to add colours that I think would suit Alice. Now basically I'm going to take is the purples. This is one colour that suits both warm and cool undertones, and it gives a lovely effect on the skin. This particular white, purple, it's like a pinky hue of it and a purpley hue of it, so it's like a mix. So straight away I would bring this in now to Alice, and one way you can actually see is actually see what way the skin starts to lift with the colour. You can actually automatically give your whole cheekbones a lift by wearing the right colour. Because what it does is it starts, you have colours underneath your skin, like when you're drawing or doing any of you that has done art. Obviously that's where I come from, is the colours analysis is from doing art. So under your skin you have loads of different colours, and then we have like a skin tone which is like a tanny or maybe a very faint pale, sort of like a pinky hue, and the whole idea is that we have to enhance that. So on Alice I would definitely pick the purples. And I will just show you now on, we use printed, and obviously I'm using the cream here, so I come along with Alice and I will put maybe a bit of print. Now some people don't suit print up to their face, but they suit it maybe from the waist down, and then vice versa. So looking now just at Alice and just see. Now Alice would suit definitely a print because it's giving a wee bit of colour to her face, more so than a block colour that's very, very strong. So I would definitely put the print on Alice. And then like that, there's a few ways to wear a scarf. So it all depends if you want the scarf up to your neck or down from your neck. And normally when you'd wear a scarf is that you give a wee bit of space to your neck so that you're not too cluttered up. It's okay for entrance into a room or if you're out in the cold to wear a scarf quite up to your neck, but when you come into a room you always loosen it a wee bit, and it just gives you, it gets the air and it just gives you a longer line to your neck. Just little touches that actually enhances the body. So definitely now on Alice I would move it down a wee bit, and I would use maybe the pinks. I would come along and I'd use another pink, obviously starting up with the pink line. actually go this side. Now, if I was using it like a client, obviously you have a mirror in front of you and you can actually see whether the colour suits you or not. And you really, by using the side of your face, you actually know if someone doesn't like a colour, is their face starts to crinkle. And you know that they're cringing, that they don't like a colour. We're all drawing to a colour, and you obviously wear a colour that makes you feel good. And that's the whole idea of wearing the right colours. It's the same as doing interiors. Anybody that's doing their interiors for the room, they never pick a colour they don't like. They always pick a cosy, nice, good feeling colour that's surrounding them. And it's the same when we dress. It's the same as when you have your wardrobe. You always have colours that suit you, and the colours make you feel good. And you don't need to have the full rainbow of colours. You just need 2 or 3 colours that are your base colours. And that's one of the advantages of getting your colours done. So that you'd have your neutrals and then you'd have your few basic colours. So you'd have, if you're warm undertone, you just stick to the warm colours, and if you're cool, you stick to the cool colours. So that's basically a quick idea on how to do your analysis on colour. There's a lot of detail too that you can go into the body shape, and there's a lot more on that end of it. But the thing is, if you are going to invest for Christmas, or we get putting out hints there for what you'd like for Christmas. Say if you have a lovely basic dress at home and you just want to enhance it, you can go for pashminas, which is basically what I've draped here on Alice. You can wear them now as shawls, but they're called pashminas, and they're like, you can get silk ones and you can get viscose. It all depends on the price as well, and then the weight and the quality. So if you just want, we say, a viscose scarf that you just want to drape, there's about 10 or 12 different ways that you can drape the pashmina on the body. But one way to get really good use of it is to wear it as scarves. Now I'm just going to show you just on Alice. I'm going to just use the pink and the green because these are 2 colours that definitely I think suits Alice's skin tone. So I'm going to work from that. So you can use the plain. I'll just take this from you. Yeah. I don't want that
one for everybody in the audience.
I'm not mass producing at the moment because I'm full-time carer, so I only get doing a certain amount of it. I do it in the middle of the night, put it that way. And that's one thing I will say. You know, I do admire carers, and I've been doing it for quite a few years, and it has actually, I found, has got harder because it's obviously taken more time to do it. And I used to feel quite alone that, you know, I shouldn't be sort of saying that I'm caring because it's something you expect that you have to do. Now I will say it is hard work, and you find something to distract that you can keep positive. And I find art does that for me. If I have to get up in the middle of the night, I will, and I'll create maybe a scarf, a couple of scarves, and I just feel I've done something else, and it keeps me in a good place. So therefore I can care for my mother-in-law maybe a lot better because I've something else going on as well. So you're coming in fresh, and it's very important, and like that, to wear scarves or wear something that makes you feel good. I can't advocate that enough. It works for me, and it's the same way as cleansing your face, putting on a wee bit of makeup in the mornings. It only takes 5-10 minutes, but it's something you're doing for yourself. And it does make you feel, even if it's only putting on a wee bit of lipstick, it does make you feel good, and it means that you have to check in the mirror for 5 minutes to say where you're at, and it's because we spend our life rushing around. And I find if it's only to cleanse my face and put a wee bit of lipstick on, and like as Marie had said, it's an affirmation. Say something, try to say something positive. It's not always easy, but it works for me, and I can't advocate it enough. So just say roughly now, I'm going to put 2 scarves together, just like what I have on me as well. It's one way if you have loads of scarves in your wardrobe, which a lot of people have, and they're inclined to pick out maybe one scarf to go with one outfit, and they keep that scarf for that outfit. So the whole idea is to use your scarves as much as you can. So say if you take a plain pashmina, plain scarf, and then a printed scarf, and you can start to wrap them around. So that way you're breaking up the print, and you won't tire of it as quick. Plus you're giving a bit more body to the scarf. So I'm just going to show you now how I put this around Alice, just like this, with a loop. Now it just gives you another idea that you can actually break up the print by putting in the plain. And the same way then, if you happen to have, we say, a pink as well. And it doesn't take very long to do this. It's only a matter of taking out your couple of scarves and just start to twist them. And then you can just put it on different ways as well. Now obviously, because the pashmina is a bit longer, you can come along and just start to pull it in a bit more even around the neck. So it's just wearing it different ways so that you're breaking up the pink and it's picking up more of the pink in the scarf. It's just varying it. But that way it makes you feel good if it's up to your face. And I think it's one colour that definitely suits Alice. And there's a few more colours that I know I definitely would put on Alice. But I put the lighter colours more so than the darker colours. Because as we get older and our skin matures, lighter colours to our face are far better than the dark colours. Because you'll always find if you have something very, very dark right to your face, you have to put a jewellery or something just to brighten it. So the best thing to do is start off bright, and then you don't have to keep accessorising. So that's definitely what I would put now on Alice. Roughly the pink tones definitely is her colours. Very much this pink to her skin. It gives a lovely glow. And another thing you can notice is the pigment on the lips. Even though you might have lipstick on, if you have the right colour on, it picks up the pigment of your lips and it looks as if you've got lipstick on. The same way as it does the white of your eye and then does your cheekbones. It actually smooths out the face and the complexion by wearing the right tones. And it definitely does work. Okay, so that's basically it, Bridget.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for that. That was very nice, and Catherine, thank you very much for coming along. And Catherine is a family carer as well, and it's great to listen to Catherine and Marie. They have such passion about caring. So it does make us all feel better when we have somebody like that. Now I'd like to call on Pat Shannon. Pat's all the way from Ennis. We'd like to thank you very much for coming along this evening. And Pat is Head of Services of Caring for Carers Ireland. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Bridget. It's very difficult to follow up Marie and Catherine as they're doing their work. But I'm very happy to be here to represent Caring for Carers Ireland. This is one of our last events that I'll be attending because Caring for Carers Ireland will cease to be at the end of the year, and our new name will be Family Carers Ireland starting off on the 1st of January. I want to acknowledge the great work you as carers do here in Cavan, Monaghan. Not alone do you do this great work in your home, but you're also very good at coming out and socialising and getting together with your carers groups. I know they're very popular both in Cavan and Monaghan, organised by John and Bridget, and I see their work when we have the annual respite breaks in Killarney or Dublin or Westport. There's always a big busload from Cavan and Monaghan. So that is the way to do it, because it's so important for you to get breaks and to get your respite breaks. And I know you have others throughout the year as well, but it's very, very important to take advantage of those. When Geraldine told me this event was on, I think tonight's the 14th of December, I think we talked about it at the beginning of November, it's about 6 weeks ago. I really wanted to come because I want to acknowledge the great work that both Geraldine and Bridget do here in Cavan, Monaghan. Geraldine is involved with our organisation since way back in the mid-90s. 2004, sorry, I thought you were there in the late 90s. No. 2004, which is almost 12 years of dedicated service. And Bridget has come on at a later stage and is doing this. What should take before you? Yeah. Yes, okay, with our carers group in Monaghan. And they do fantastic work. I'm always amazed at the lovely attitude that they have and the way they work with their group and the individual carers. I know we have little issues in other counties around Ireland where there's often rows or carers groups have difficulties or something like that. We never have any problems in Cavan, Monaghan. Anytime that a carer rings us from that area, they have nothing but the highest regard for both Bridget and Geraldine. So I wanted to thank you for your great work here. I'm ceasing to be a member or an official of Caring for Carers Ireland at the end of the year. I've decided to take a long errand rest. I'm picking up great tips there from Marie. She talks about not looking at the news as much as I do, and I was going to say I'll be watching more of the news, but I'll definitely take up your point. And indeed, your points I think are very good. I'd love to put them on the website. They're lovely little snippets. They were just given lovely short, and I think loads of carers would benefit throughout Ireland. So I'd love to get, if Geraldine or Bridget can get it, to put them on our website. It would be great. And I was just looking at the colours and the combination of the colours being together, and I just wonder, what about blue and white? Or white and blue? I thought those colours are very popular around Cavan, Monaghan. But anyway, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your night here. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you very much, Pat, for coming along this evening. Pat came all the way from Ennis, so I'd like to give him a round of applause, please. I'd also like to thank Home Care Medical Supplies over here on my left. They're based in Dundalk, and as you all can see, aids and appliances are all very important to make our life easier. And just something that we learned this week about a new mat. It's a mat you put at the side of the bed, and it squeals when the person gets out. It makes noise, and we find it a great, whoever's staying up with Mummy at night, the minute they put their foot to the floor, the mat starts to squeal, so we know they're out. So it allows you to get some sleep as well as everything else. So thank you very much, Martina, in Dundalk there. And Martina is very helpful to us in the Monaghan region if anybody wants to go up and view any of the aids and appliances. And they're based in Cavan as well. Thank you very much for that, Geraldine. I'd like to thank the Errigan Hotel for a lovely meal, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, we'd like to thank everybody in Monaghan and Cavan for donating the lovely prizes for the draw. And I hope you all dug deep down in your pockets for the tickets sales, because there's great prizes here, and the funds for the draw will be going towards respite for some families in Cavan Monaghan region. I myself would like to thank Ailish McGarry and Michael Tomini, our new TUS worker, and Marianne Conley for their support to me over the year. And I'd also like to thank Geraldine for her support as well. Without her I couldn't manage, and I've said this before, we are moving forward into a new organisation, the merger of the Carers Association and the Caring for Carers Ireland. So as myself and Geraldine said, it's not the first time a merger took place. Many years ago, when I started off on my own, prior to 2004, there was no support for family carers in the Cavan Monaghan region. And I started off in a small office in Ballybay, and grew from there. But the day I met Geraldine Clark, and we merged, the Cavan Monaghan merged together. So if the Carers Association and the Caring for Carers works as well as the Cavan Monaghan Carers, it'll be a big hit.
This is one called the Uncommon Agricultural Policy. The farmer isn't paying much these other modern days, unless you happen to have a special big job in the IFA. I was thinking hard of quitting and sailing on the brew, but you're shoveling down and smuggling pigs is about all that I can do. So when I heard the rumours, I phoned up straight away. And this bio from the department came out the very next day. He says, we're looking for a place that's sad and badly run, to try we experiment our chaps are working on. We can install computers and connect up your beef and mutton. And you can run the whole place at the touch of one wee button. You can feed your pigs and bullocks and you can run the milking plant. So now the only question that I have is, will I get a grant? Oh, he said, yeah, the EEC will pay for all. So I immediately signed the cheat. And soon the place was hanging deep with wires and bullock shit. Well, I offered to clean up the yard, but the department buyers didn't mind. They said their job was hanging deep with bullshit all the time. Well, they can hardware men and software men and all they did was talk. And each one blamed the other when the damn thing wouldn't work. The boy that wired out at Calf House, he got a wee bit sloppy. He came down a wee bit of effort there and loaded on his floppy. Another boy was tearing out his hair and he was swearing fit the burst. When I asked him what the problem was, it's Microsoft, he cursed. I'm trying to put the windows in and I just can't fix all the tricks. Jeez, I said, the boys around this side put the windows in with bricks. But soon the job was finished and the work was left for me, except to lie in bed in splendour and watch those women on TV. Should the animals had all been trained, for me there was no call. But I used to wander around at times just to marvel at it all. The trapper guidance thing, it worked from a satellite. Could it go out completely by itself to plough or spread the shit? It walked away from dawn to dusk and it never taught us Cavan. And it never stopped outside the pub like it did when I was driving. Well, the pigs we always reckoned were happy as can be, hoking around the valley and clabbered to the knee. But now they have a toilet and their own big bathroom suite. And they live in spotless splendour with everything so neat. The boar, he lives in a special pen with soft romantic lights, and he's visited by all the sows, but just on weekday nights. The computer schedules him to rest at the weekend after tea, and it plays him his piggy videos on his personal TV. It checks each sow's contentment scale after the weekly sessions, and a little crush Viagra might have to be added to his rations. The milk parlour gates open up every morning at 7 a.m. and the cows march like soldiers into the milking pen. Should milk production zoomed at once for each cow give her all, with a perfect balanced diet on our soothing milking stall. But when it came to breeding, there was some change in that. We had always used the AI man, the bull with the bowler hat. But these cows, they got on the internet, and God knows what they found. These big blondies, Swedish bulls go down into the ground. Well, Tinkerbell and Daisy May, they all took their pick, and then Eureka took a fancy to this massive bull called Sven. Each cow in turn picked out her mate, the one she fancied most, and the love was consummated and delivered partial host. The sheep did live up on the mountainside in the warmer summer climes, and he used to send her ship to round them up just to check them out at times. But there's none of this out whistling stuff now when you want to put a tone. You just call him on his mobile phone, provided that it's on. But of course it all ended up in tears, like all good things in life, because I thought that I would ask them to computerise the wife. All our things were working, but some things sagged a bit. Like if you see her in a birthday suit, you just might think it didn't fit. Oh, the engine was still going strong, but the gearbox was away. She could barely make it up the stairs to bring me up my tail. So to fit her with a microchip and a wheel recharging socket, she's come round now doing housework beat jizzed like a rocket. Then she started this out fitness thing till her strength became a menace. And her legs developed muscles like them Williams sisters who plays the tennis. She can lift the sofa up with one hand and she can hoover down below it. And one day I was sleeping on it and she didn't even know it. And her memory is perfect, all recorded on CD, and then played back in stereo just to prove how wrong I'd be. I had to watch every word I said, well, even if it made no sense, because every word was taken down and used as evidence. And even in the dark night, she always wanted more. And to finish up, I had to steal some of the stuff that fed the boar. So there only was one answer. So I got out the phone book, and I wrote the department bio to get me off the hook. Oh, he says she signed upon the dotted line and there's no way you can chip. So I'm going in tomorrow to get myself a microchip. Thank you.
Hey, go on, Sean. Fair play to you, Sean. Harry Charlie's here now. Oh. Dawn is breaking and Geraldine's waking for a place transported to a place all over the sea. Charlie's thinking of Galway, but Galway's a long way away. Charlie's thinking of Galway again, you can tell by the look in her eyes. Sometimes alone in the night time, Geraldine cries. You still see the moon over Claddagh, or the sun going down into day. Geraldine's thinking of Galway, but Galway's a long way away. Geraldine's thinking of Galway again, you can tell by the look in her eyes. Sometimes alone in the night time, Geraldine cries. You still see the moon over Claddagh, or the sun going down into day. Geraldine's thinking of Galway, but Galway's a long way away. Galway's a long way away. Thank you for dancing.